Welcome, exiles! Today I'm going to show you how to improve our 1v0 Cyclone Gladiator build. Now, this has been requested, like a lot of people asked, when are you posting the next video with improvements? So here it is, we are going to improve it together. I'm going to start with path of building from the previous video and improve it and show you why I think some of the things you should get on the skill tree. Also, the cool thing is we are dropping some expensive items in favor of some cheaper ones, and actually we are going to get more damage. Maybe lose tiny bit of health in the process, but we can get a lot more damage if we remove voices, which we had in a previous iteration. Probably most of you had just regular cluster jewels that didn't spend money on voices, and that's probably okay. If you did, you can flip the voices, like the price jumped, so if you bought it before, you can sell it for even more money, which is cool. And the other recommended item that is going to be, like, if you get rid of the voices, get Watcher's Eye with +2 impales. That's what I will be doing probably, and the next video will include that, but that's either voices or Watcher's Eyes are not mandatory. This build can be pretty cheap. You can start it with 2 exalts, maybe even less, and then improve it later on. Before we begin, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and turning on the notifications. This helps a lot with YouTube algorithm and how it suggests videos, so if you want to see more videos from me, you have to turn on the notifications. Also, before we begin, there's one more thing that we have to take care of, and that is installing the path of building if you don't have it. Now, I'm using the community forked version, so if you already have one version of path of building, you will have to download one more. And it's not going to mess with your current path of building. We're going to download the portable version and turn it into the community forked version. Now, please watch the thing from start to finish, because if you skip one step, it's not going to work. So let's do that. To download the Path of Building community, or as it's known, a fork version of Path of Building, go over to this URL. I will leave that URL in the description, so you don't have to type it or search on Google, just click on it. Yeah. Then scroll all the way down here to downloads, click on releases, and download the latest one. At the moment this is the one, but yeah, might be some other number when you're downloading it. Get the zip version, not the exe. Exe is installation, this is a portable version, so if you get the zip version, it's not going to mess with your other installation of Path of Building, so you can have 2 of them and it's awesome. So download the zip, I already did so, and it's going to download into your downloads folder probably. And then you unzip it. If you don't have a program to unzip it, you can use 7-zip, it's free. Unzip it, and this is self-contained Path of Building thing that you can put anywhere on your hard drive that you want. It doesn't matter if you move it later on or now. You can put it on your flash drive and take it wherever you want on the different computer, and all of your builds are going to be with that version. So you can have one that's just for my builds, for instance, and yeah, like you can have as many as you want. So you go into this Path of Building and there's an exe. We won't start it right away because we need to edit this manifest file. So just right click and edit that file. Now I will just quickly pin this thing if it wants to be pinned. Come on. I will pin it on top. It's an awesome program for like pinning stuff on top of other stuff. So yeah, like if I go here, now this stays on top, which is awesome. Now we go back. It's called desk pins and it's awesome. I use it all the time. Then we go here into this part where it says instructions for installing a fork, and what we need to change is this line of code, this here. And if we look at it here, it's this one, and we need to change it to this. So just go here and rip. Come on. And it's actually popping up to say copy. It's kind of messing with me. Come on. copy. Then you right click here, or you use Ctrl V, but yeah, right click, paste, and you're done. You click save and you're done. It's that simple. Now you go back here and launch path of building. It's going to take forever to launch first time because it's going to be checking for updates. Once it launches, everything is fine and dandy. You have the version that you're supposed to, and then you can use the paste bin that I've included for you guys, and I will show you how to import paste bins in a second once this launches. So be right back. Okay, so we installed the path of building, and to import the builds you go to import, paste it here, import, and you're done. Once we are here, this is the path of building from the last video, and we're going to improve it. So first of all, what I suggest doing is dropping forts. They do give a lot of well, nice stats. As you can see, when I remove it, our damage goes by 1 million, which is kinda bad to remove it, but we are going to do it, and we're going to get these impales here. Now this brings the damage somewhat to similar numbers, but we used a bit more skill points. There are two things that you can do. Either anoint this one, so you don't have to travel through this 1, 2, 3 and get that 4 one, or you anoint this one, though you have increased impale effects, which is pretty cool here, and here you have -5 total physical damage reduction. So if you cannot like get to both of them, you can anoint one. That's what I did with this one before, but definitely like get both of them. And I will show you different skill tree that I'm working on later on, because this is like not like the best travel. You could go through here and drop like this, so you get better travel. It's still like not perfect, but you're at least like there's like not, this is not completely useless down here. And you might wanna drop this life because maybe you can get 6 somewhere or get some better travel. Now also here is kinda a bit weird because we have double connections from down here, so you could drop it here, or because you have to drop that one here now because it's like not working. What you could do is go through here, connect this up, and then disconnect this node and drop the leech. It's really not needed. You can grab it somewhere else, and maybe like it's 5%. You can, there's 5% here, there's definitely 5% on few spots. Try to get some life. You can like do this and go life, and that's going to show you all the nodes that are going to give you a lot of life. So you're looking at the nodes like these bright ones that give 8% or something, and you can grab that, but just keep in mind, if you're traveling too much to it, it's not worth it. So for instance, I would rather grab 4% life than evasion than just 5% life, because evasion is going to give you armor because we are using iron reflexes. So if I grab this is actually giving me a bit of armor, and I'm going to get some physical damage reduction from that because it's being converted to armor. I actually, when I was playing around, I grabbed some evasion here, and it gave a lot of armor. So if you grab something like this, it's crazy how much armor you get from that. And I have one skill tree when I went through there. I will show you that one in a second, but I went through there and I got a whole bunch armor and phys reduction. So that could be good, because if something goes through your block, it's going to hit you hard if you don't have high phys damage reduction. Obviously, if it's a spell or some elemental damage, then yeah, but for like regular hits, phys damage reduction and armor are really good. You have this one here, but it's kind of really weird to get it, because while you kind of travel through dex nodes, you're spending 3 points to get 10. So if you're spending basically 4 points, you could get 4 of these that are more. So I couldn't really fit it in here. I wanted to somehow travel through it, but then you kind of connect to here and get nothing. Like, you get double connections and you're not traveling through here, you're just traveling like through here, and your split personality doesn't it goes through the shortest path as far as I know, so you're not going to get any benefit for split personalities. So yeah, if I probably should mention, I expect you that you watched the previous video and know what split personality is, so I will include the video in the description, and watch that one before this, because that one is way more detailed. This one is just like suggestions on how to improve it. So I have included these split personality jewels, and you will unfortunately have to count nodes to be able to calculate it. So what you do, if you wanna, you maybe moved these split personalities here, or you allocated some new node where there's a split personality that you want to drop in. If you drop like the regular split personality jewel, Dex Life, as you can see, it's giving you just 5 dexterity. So like none, split personality, so it doesn't really work. So we have these 5 faked ones that you can use. What I recommend doing is putting them, I usually put them in order of like which one gives the most. So the further it is, it's going to give you more. So I would go 1. I think I messed them up here, but 2, then 3. So I ordered them like that. This one would be 4, if you want to have split personality there too. This one would be 5, and then you calculate the distance. So unfortunately, like I said, you would have to count them. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. And you obviously don't count this, you just count the travel time. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and so on and so forth. And you just count those nodes, not including, like, you won't count these, just the travel nodes, and you get to this one. So let's say there were 60 nodes to get to this one. What you would do is pop your calculator and just do 60 times 1.125, and that's going to give you 75 dexterity. I don't know if like there's that many nodes to here. I was kind of close, I guess. There were maybe 60 something, 61 or 2 to here. So I don't know how it was 76. Okay, so just count and then continue like counting the nodes. How many are you? Maybe, I don't know, 70. So you can say 70 times 1.225, you get 87. Obviously it's going to be either 87 or 88, I'm not sure. You won't get 0.5. I'm not sure how the game calculates that, but you calculate them like that if you want to see the correct damage in here. And if you're going to play around by adding some nodes, removing stuff, you have to have correct calculated split personalities, or you won't really know how much damage you have. And that kind of sucks. I really hope that in some time we get an update. I keep checking it every few hours because I don't want to do this, and it's going to like cut my time in like calculating this stuff with split personalities by a lot. So until we get that update, you have to do it this way, and then you calculate how much split personalities are giving, and then you can allocate other nodes and be sure that you're actually getting the correct values. So yeah, get the impales, maybe like get this one, and then you can anoint something else. So once you get both of them, you can check like this. You go impale total DPS, and this is going to tell you which nodes are going to give you the most damage. As you can see, there are a few nodes that are glowing, really glowing, but just I wanted to demonstrate this one first, because it's going to glow the nodes that are basically not going to work in some cases, because we are not counted as using claws, and this is not going to work for us. So just watch out for that. Watch out for nodes that are actually usable in game, so it's glowing some things that are not usable in game, like this ballista totem. Not going to work for you, but this is going to work for you. And maybe you can do this one, or maybe you can do this one for channelings. Maybe you can do I think there's one really cool one here. Yes, this one has -5 to total physical damage reduction against your hits, 4% chance to deal double damage, strength physical damage. That's kind of cool. Similar to this one somewhat, but I think that other one is actually better. So you can watch, if you, for instance, maybe you want to get bigger Cyclone, you can look for area. And like turn this off, and maybe you can annotate increased area effect, increased area damage. You can annotate something like that if you wanted to, depending on how cheap the annotates are. So you should see which ones are actually good, but to kind of get the best ones really easy, this is going to show you what is kind of good. I think would probably like this fort, skipping 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes and just grabbing fort with annotate would be cool. What's this one? This one wouldn't work because it's with X's. This one is probably, yeah, it's an X, so it's not going to work. This one, I really doubt that it would give you that much damage because we're not doing crits, so also watch out for that. You could grab something, so it's totally up to you. You could annotate forts, for instance. That would be like my suggestion. So how would you test this in Path of Building? So this one is called Rampart. So you so you don't mess up the spelling, you can watch edit and just retype it. And be sure that you are actually selecting it. You copy that, go into items, find your Astramentis, edit it, and instead of forceful, skewering thing, you press Ctrl V and save it, and save it again. Okay, so that way we get a bit more damage out of it. So we got forceful thingy for impales, we got the other impales, we got the fort now, and as you can see our damage is somewhat nice, though we allocated a bit more passives, so obviously we would have to drop something. And the nice thing, because we went through here, we got even more life, so we got 6.5. This is calculating all of your jewels would have to be with life dex. So each one of these is actually quite expensive. It's around 4 exalts. You probably won't spend that much, and you won't have voices here, so just saying, like, it's not going to be that powerful like in here if you don't spend a lot of currency. So you would lose 1 jewel here, and then once you have you wouldn't lose any damage, honestly, if you remove voices. You would just lose a bit of life and maybe even gain some damage, which is kind of cool. And we'll get to that, how you would get extra damage, but just keep in mind that this scenario here with 9 point something, almost 10, it probably would be 10 if we had like 3 more points. I could grab this. There we go, it's 10. But you have to be a level 100, so it's kind of not realistic, I guess. You could, if you're lower level, you drop this, maybe even drop this, and I don't know, until you can. Maybe you can even drop this for a while. I mean, it gives a lot of damage, but you could drop it. You could drop blocks, be a glass cannon for a while, but yeah, it's a bit better than what it used to be. So you could modify it like this. I wanted to like show you live how to do the split personalities, so just calculated. We said like 76, we would just go, what did we said, like, you go into items, find the one that is there. So this one is, which one? A split personality 5. I think 5 is enough. You can duplicate one if you need one more, and just edit this. You can say, hey, I calculated it wrong, it gives 80, just save and it updates. And this is annoying, but it has to be done like that. Now let's get to like few items that I think are really cool, that you might want to get, and we'll switch to a different build. I should save this, so this is going to be version 3. I should share this one with you, but now let's get to the one that I was working on. So I have a few ones here, and these one are not calculated correctly because I'm lazy and I didn't calculate all of the split personalities correctly. They might not be correct, so yeah, take this one with grain of salt, like the numbers here. I think this one is correct, but since I didn't duplicate the jewels for other skill trees that I'm managing, they are moved, so they are not going to give you this much damage, because in this skill tree they are further, maybe, and like this one is way more closer. And this skill tree has a less split personality. This is a budget variant, so this one is correct. I calculated correctly. And you get, with this one, we lost like 300 life, but we gained, well, a nice sum of damage, so it's almost going to 10. And we are on 118 skill points, and I also can drop this, so 114. I grabbed this because I want to see a bigger cyclone, so I grabbed that. And you can grab this because free dexterity, I guess, for a while, if you cannot like figure out where else to put it. But it's kind of really cool. The idea here is to not connect through here, but actually go like this, and we have just our regular brown jewel that we've been using from the previous build, and you can go through Scion. This is like Scion starting position, and this thing is usually referred as Scion wheel because it looks like a wheel. A Scion life wheel, that's usually how people refer to that. So you go through these, get a whole bunch of life, get these things, free jewel socket, free resists, get this stuff, then this is standard, like from the previous build. I really like this part here because you get decent life, you get a lot of dexterity, you get block chance, you get another block chance here, and this one 10% life. I kinda really like that part of skill tree, and it's kinda cool. And now we get to the interesting stuff. These are the large cluster jewels that I recommend getting. The ones that you should get have to have two things. 2 added passive skills are jewel sockets, because we want as many as we can. Other thing that has to be on a jewel socket is deep cuts. Deep cuts give you, where's deep cuts? Deep cuts give you +1 additional impale, and this is huge. I mean, the Watcher's Eye with impales cost 23 exalts, but you can get these jewels for 5 chaos. And you get 1 impale. On Watcher's Eye you get 2. But getting 2 or 3 more impales, I got 3, so you have... actually I got 2 in this variant. So you get the deep cuts here, you get the deep cuts here, and it's kind of fine and dandy. You still are keeping... some split personalities, though they have had to be moved. I don't think this calculation is right because we were messing with it. But yeah, you go through here. There should be... I don't know how much damage exactly is going to be, but because I'm messing around with this stuff all the time and I have to edit those split personalities, they are not correct always. Or I would have to duplicate a whole bunch of them to be correct in calculations. But either way, like you switch, we had that transformation jewel, now it's split personality. Don't note that other jewel might actually give you more dexterity than split personality because of these nodes. There are a lot of strength nodes, like this gives 20 strength, this strength. So it should give you a lot of dexterity, but you are leaving the strength alone this way, and strength gives you life and gives you physical damage, so leaving it alone is kind of fine, not transforming it. And you, with split personality, you get dexterity either way, and you get life, again, really good. So this is kind of that variant, and other things that you should look in large cluster jewels is deadly repartir. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's 5% chance to block attacks while dual wielding, awesome for Gladiator, and you get 25% increased damage while dual wielding, increased crit, we don't care about it, but it's there, so you can get that. And you get deep cuts. Other things that you could look on these jewels are, where is it? Feed the Fury and get the Leech. That's why I'm kind of dropping that other Leech that I showed you to drop it, or if you had a Leech here, where is it? Yeah, if you had that Leech, you can drop it. You don't need a lot of Leech, just a little bit to kind of sustain you. So this is kind of just fine. There is Feed the Fury and Drive the Distraction. There are two Leech nodes on large cluster jewels that you can get. And while we are on a subject of that, you can look those up on POE large cluster jewels, and just look at these 2 variants. The one that gives attack speed. So you get deep cuts. Note that deep cuts are really like low value to roll. They're kind of the best thing that can roll. And Devastator, if you can grab the jewel that has 2 sockets, Devastator and deep cuts, GG. Like that's what I wanted, but it cost so much money. And I couldn't get it at the moment. Those are either like not priced at all, or like 30 exalts, 40, and at that price it's really not worth to me. I would try to craft it if that's the case. On the subject of crafting, and you can also get the ones that before we get to crafting, the ones with dual wielding, these have a bit more stuff that they can roll, but still deep cuts. This one is not that great. Increased effects of impels, it's kinda can be good, but I didn't see it roll with the deep cuts. So yeah, like you could get that one, but here also Drive the Distraction and Feed the Fury for Leech. Devastator, if you can get it, probably not, but if you can get it along the deep cuts, those are kind of really hard to roll. And Deadly Repartir, I'm not sure. So yeah, like that one and deep cuts if you're looking at dual wielding, and Feed the Fury, Drive the Destruction. If you could get one of these and this, that would be crazy good. If you cannot get all three, you could probably get Deep Cuts and block on one large cluster jewel, and on the other you can get Deep Cuts and one of these, Drive the Destruction or Feed the Fury. So those are my recommendations for large cluster jewels. How about crafting some? You have to have level 75 on them to be able to get to passive jewel sockets. Now there's additional tip that I can give you. As you can see, all of this stuff is 84 to roll. Like all of it, it's 84. So what you could do is grab the jewel that's it's in between 75, level 75 and level 83. That way you won't really roll this, because this only rolls on jewel sockets that are above 84, so you have greater chance of rolling some notables. But also you could end up rolling dexterity to all attributes if you have a larger a bigger level than 84, but then you have a lesser chance of getting the jewel sockets, and I don't think that's really viable. So even though they have like really high chance of rolling compared to this other stuff, I would still grab the ones that are under 84, so between 75 and 84. That way you don't get that stuff. And also you can mess with fossils. Is the one like, yeah, I thought that you can actually remove some of it, but it's like not needed. What I was looking at something and I thought, yeah, like this removes, but they are already 84. I thought that they could roll something that's on level 1, that if you select one of the fossils you can remove that. Like, yeah, not for myself, you don't have to use fossils to roll this stuff. Just get the jewel that's between 75 and 83. I haven't tested this yet for myself, but I think it's probably going to work. I will try crafting them in a day or two. So these are the jewels. Other thing that's this is somewhat crazy if you have currency laying around, it's a natural instinct jewel. This is going to make, let me read it, it's probably going to explain itself. Allocated small passive skills in radius grant nothing. So what you grab gives you nothing, but grants all bonuses of unallocated small passive skills in radius. Now this is a really cool thing, because if you go through here, it's not going to work like that. For that setup you wouldn't grab anything. Like here you would ungrab that, go through here and put a natural instinct there, and that are natural instincts. I think I have it actually here. Maybe I don't. I thought I have it, but I don't. So you could add it really quickly, really easily actually. So you search for, you cannot really add it like this, you have to copy it from Path of Exile trade site. So you find an actual instinct jewel, and you will see that they are kind of somewhat crazy in price. So this is like, I'm not getting this anytime soon because I want to spend my money on Watcher's Eye for now, and I'm spending way too much time in POE not playing the game and making currency. So you copy that, you go to items, custom item, you paste it here and add it to build, and now you have it. It's that simple. And we can add a natural instinct here. As you can see, it's going to give you a whole bunch of stuff if you remove it. It grabs all of these fizz nodes, it grabs this block. Where is the block? Yeah, you get 4% block chance, you get a whole bunch resist from it because it's grabbing this resist here. It gives you this 5%, 5 dex, it gives you this movement speed, it gives you all of these, though you don't need totems. Though you could actually. Tax use better. Yeah, it's going to like be good if you're using Ancestral War Chief. This spell effect duration probably not useful. So you can also play around with that Unnatural Instinct, drop it maybe in here, and you would get these life nodes. I don't think you wouldn't get this then, which is not a good trade-off, but would get... Nah, it's not going to be good. But you could think of some place to put it. So this is probably the place to put it, because it's going to give you like this resist and everything. So yeah, that's kind of cool to get. The other thing that is somewhat... I'm not sure how much it's going to be impressed. It's Brutal Restraint Timeless Jewel. Now, these things can give you dexterity, which is somewhat ridiculous. So you have to roll them with divines and notables in radius. So notables are those somewhat a bit bigger nodes, like this one. This one would be notable, and this is a keystone. So notables, yeah, this is also notable. Notables can give you 20 dexterity. So if you roll it correctly, and if you put it in some place where you allocated a lot of stuff and it grabs like around it, and it has a really big circle. Unfortunately, you cannot really test it in Path of Building. So if we add that to Path of Building, you see that it actually doesn't work. These ones shouldn't be like crazy expensive, but it depends like which one you need to get. Like, is it which one of these it rolls, and how much like this number is, and you have to divine it to get the ones that are good. So if we kind of copy this one, copy item, open POB, items, custom item, drop it in there, then add to build, and then if you drop it somewhere, Timeless Jewel, as you can see, it has a really big radius, so it would grab this one, this one, this one, and you can probably grab, because they are going to give you dexterity, you could grab this one and this one. Probably not, but you could probably find some even better place for it, not sure. But you have a whole bunch of notables in range here. But they do not really work in terms of like showing here in POB. I think, I'm not sure, maybe they work. I mean, maybe we can bring another one that's kind of sacrificing in something else. I don't know. But you would have to roll them with divines probably to get the dexterity, or be sure to buy the one that actually does what it's supposed to do. And I'm like not 100% sure how that works yet, because I haven't messed with those that much. But being able to get, as I've said, 20 dexterity out of notables and just regular notes are going to give you 4 dexterity seems like an insane thing to get. They are like not crazy expensive. This is probably not like correct, because we just seen that they are actually a bit more expensive. You could, for instance, get this onslaught or something cool out of it too. Can roll max life on notables too, so you could get something out of it. Maybe some resists. It's definitely worth trying out. I'm not sure just how expensive it's going to be with having to divine them or find the one that's actually correct and buy it, because they can roll different sacrifice in different names. And I'm not sure like which one is correct or the number. I think the number is the seed, like in RNG, so you have to reroll it to see what those nodes around it are going to actually give you. I thought it does, the number doesn't matter, but it actually matters. It doesn't matter if you want to get a keystone passive, but it matters in what is going to corrupt around it. So this is kind of something that I would try if I have a lot of money to waste on divines, because I think divine is, last time I checked, 10 chaos a pop, so if you roll it a lot of times you're going to probably waste a lot of money. But I will probably grab the one like that's cheapest, at least roll it 3-4 times to see what I get, and next time I will tell you if it worked or if it didn't. You can also tell me in comments if you tried it too already. It would be nice if somebody tells me if that works, or if I should like not waste time on this, or is it good? It's probably good, because 20 dex is kind of really good. So yeah, those are some things. I also have some skill tree that I also wanted to show you, like that one that I told you that has a lot of armor. Is it this one? Or am I like missing something? I'm not sure. But I tried to go through here like this and grabbed like this life here. This is like life. It's not going to actually show it like that, but it gives 8% life in some evasion, so we went through evasion a lot, so we got some additional evasion and armor. This is always kind of standard for me, but you could also go through here and you get like this +1 cold res and go through here, then get back through here. I don't know. I don't know if that would work. Probably not, like just messing around with it. You would probably drop this stuff then. There's probably a way to kind of include this +1 cold res, but it's kind of not important. This jewel socket is also pretty juicy to get it. I mean, it's decent travel and it's kind of few dex nodes, and dex nodes give you extra damage, extra life, so you could grab that at some point. I kind of wanted to keep it at 118. This one also includes those 2 large cluster jewels and block. It's kind of pretty standard. In this variant we are anointing this forceful skewering, yeah, that thing there. So yeah, there are a few variants, and this one also has one megalomaniac jewel, which gives you the notables from large cluster jewels on a medium cluster jewel, so you get additional deep cuts. And I also found this one confident combatant. I have this in game, it's not like just added in POE. I kind of want to try to include it in my build, but increases your damage per chance to block. So if I remove this gives a nice chunk of damage, and it's kind of cool, but I'm not sure if I will be able to include everything in the build. So there's so much stuff that can be included in the build, and I'm like feeling like a kid in a candy store. Do I grab this? Do I grab that? If we grab this, I cannot grab that. So like it's kind of if you let the kid into candy store with a limited budget, so you can grab like everything, but you have to pick what you could grab. if that makes sense. But this video is getting somewhat long. Please let me know in the comments what you did with the build. Share POBs. I want to look at them. I also told I would review builds if somebody sends me, and I didn't have time to do that yesterday, but I will try to get to that. So if you send me a POB, I will try to check it out and maybe go over it in the next video. So this is all. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and hope to see you on the next one.